I'll just wait for some people to get on, of course, and then we'll get this party started. I was originally just going to do like a basic video for this, but I feel like there's a lot to talk about, so I'm going to do it in this format once again. Yeah, not really much else to say at the moment. As I said, just waiting for people in right now and sorting out some shit back here. Dearie me. But I managed to get away from the weather by the looks of it, because it looked like it was going to piss it down to something awful. So I definitely did dodge a bullet this time. But will we be able to dodge a bullet for the 27th of July? And I will explain later why I say that. In the meantime, instead of just clearing up some shit and waiting for people, I should actually drink it while I'm at it. There we go. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a pint of Guinness, but it's still going to be lovely all the same, let me tell you. So, where do I begin? Because I've got it in the title, of course, that there are 4 things I basically want to talk about. So, I guess the best place to start, more than anything, is the Labour Party. Because here, the Tool Starmer has been in talks with Sadiq Khan about how do we tackle Islamophobia. Well, I'm going to pose this counter-argument. How do you counter something that doesn't exist? Because the way I look at it, there is no such thing as Islamophobia. In fact, if we're even going to go down this shitty argument, I could even say that Keir the Tool Starmer, or maybe more to the point, Sadiq Khan, has Anglophobia. Or what about all the people who go up against old Whitey, goes against people who are British? I would call them Anglophobes. Do you think they're going to take that? Something tells me not. That's the thing. If they want to make up words, we could do the same as well. But here's the difference. We're not petty, petulant school children at the end of the day. Well, NPCs like Sadiq Khan most definitely are. As I said, how do you counter something that doesn't exist? That's the way I look at it right now. Islamophobia would imply that we have an irrational fear or hatred for Muslims or Islam, if we want to get technical. Now, last time I checked, I don't think it was illegal to be Islamophobic, even if it was a word. And last time I checked, I don't think it's against the law either to basically voice concerns about Islam. Here's the thing. There are people in Islam who constantly go after Christianity, and more importantly, go after the Jews, yet not a word is said about them. Maybe the Islamic people are suffering from Jewish phobia, or Zionism phobia, or whatever other fucking made-up word I can come up with. Do you think they're going to accept that? Like hell are they? But what's sad is, they tried, and I think they have actually, put Islamophobia in the Oxford Dictionary, which Islamophobia has no right to be in the dictionary because it is just a made-up word meant to serve to shut down criticism of Islam. That's all it boils down to. It's merely a buzzword that people like Sadiq Khan run to at the first sign that he's being challenged. Here's another thing. Everyone in this country has the God-given right to live on this planet. But what you do not have the right to is the right to not be offended. That will always be the case until the end of time. Sorry, I've got some food cooking in the oven. Anyway, the point is, Islam is not a special snowflake. They are not special snowflakes. They are just as vulnerable as us Christians. Well, I'm not Christian, but you get what I mean. Us Christians, we're just them to criticism. Like, I could go on about the times where I've had Christian preachers come up to me and say, oh, well, if you don't repent, you're all going to hell and all that shit. But I don't. You know why? Because it's a matter of class, and I understand that this country is built on Judeo-Christian beliefs. Islam is merely a death cult that has basically gone around looting, raiding, pillaging, and raping women. That's what it comes down to. It is intolerant of Western society, and it wants to impose a caliphate across the world. That's the thing. And nobody is ever going to convince me otherwise. And let me be absolutely clear on this, because I know there are going to be people who are going to be like, he's a racist. No, I have not a single racist bone in my body. And it's a pretty big body. Could even be two people's. But hey ho, I have no problem with people coming to our country and living here and integrating with society and actually understanding and respecting our beliefs. What I have a problem with is hardline Islamists who are going out of their way to come into this country, claim, in Anjem Choudhury's own words, and I quote, seekers allowance, or job seekers allowance for us normal people, and then basically do whatever they please in our country. The Muslim rape gangs, they go around and get a bit stabby. If anybody has their beliefs threatened, they send the boys round. I've already made a prime example of that, how a Muslim, if I could get the words out, Muslim pupil who went to a school where they don't segregate people, and this female pupil tried to say, this school is imposing on my beliefs, not knowing that she went to the school, so basically she has to abide by the rules of no prayer. And quite rightly, we should not be breaking the rules to Islam. Because at the end of the day, this is our house, so it's our damn rules. I'm willing to bet dollars and donuts it'd be exactly the same if I went to somewhere like Qatar, or India, or Pakistan, or Afghanistan. I'd probably be shot on sight, but that's beside the point. The point is, if I was in their countries, I would be expected to respect their cultures and beliefs. And there's so many people watching right now. God damn, I haven't had this many people since fucking 2018, 2019, something like that. So I appreciate you all being here. But I would be expected to abide by their rules if I was in their country. Likewise, if I went to any other damn country on this planet, and likewise for anyone else, they'd be expected to abide by the country's rules. But Islam thinks they get a free pass. Nuh-uh. Not on our watch. That's why I will always challenge Islamophobia. I will always challenge a person that tries to bring laws like this, because what it basically is, and what it boils down to, it is a blasphemy law, disguised the rather poorly veiled word of Islamophobia. But of course, the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know the drill, folks, because say it with me, it doesn't suit the narrative. That's what it boils down to. They won't tell us that this is merely a blasphemy law. And it's ironic. There is a far right growing. Let me be absolutely clear on that. There is a far right. And note how I don't use air quotes, because I'm obviously not saying that about us patriots. There is a genuine far right out there. It's called Islam, because Islam wants to shut down all political opposition. They want to treat women like second-class citizens. They want to give homosexuals a free first-class ticket off the top of a building to the floor, if you catch my drift. And they basically call for jihad against the kafir, or the kafar, or the kafuffle, or whatever you want to blame, basically the non-believers. So when Labour tried to say, let's have this Islamophobia law in place, it's basically, let's bring this blasphemy law in place. And you know what? I will fight tooth and nail if I have to prevent this shit. Because we deserve better. Now, speaking of racism, which obviously you can't be racist against a religion, let's talk about someone else. Let's talk about Narindur Kaur. Or is it Narindur Cunt? I can't really make up my mind. I could actually apply both, to be honest. But anyway, she ended up going on and said that basically the 4 million voters, obviously a bit more than that, but I'm just using 4 million as a base figure. It was probably a little bit over that, maybe give or take a couple of 100,000. She said the 4 million people who voted Reform were racists. Narindur Kaur, you have no idea the kind of floodgates you've just opened right now. And I say that, I'm laughing, but at the same time, I have to get serious. You've just opened yourself up to a libel case by 4 million people 4 million people who voted for Reform. How do you think you'll last, Narindur Kaur? This is my message directly to you now. How long do you think you would last against 4 million people libel cases against you? Sad thing is, she has even been asked by the people of Talk TV to basically apologise for that. Because, let me be clear, while there are racists, I grant you that, there are racists all over. Doesn't matter the colour, the creed, the party, the country. Don't care. They're going to exist, 100%. But you cannot falsely and with no evidence maliciously libel an entire section of people. And I am one of those people. I went out and did my duty to vote Reform. Am I racist because of that? No, I'm not. I'm merely one of the 4 million people who put their vote in, marked a ballot paper, and put it in the box. It's not like I went out and said, oh, all the Pakistanis should be shot. That was never anything that anybody has ever said, ever. And I sure as shit don't stand by that belief. I'm just throwing it out there as an example. So, Narindur Kaur, we want an apology from you. We want you to come onto live television and openly apologise unreservedly and unconditionally to the 4 million people you have labelled racists. And even to put this into perspective as well, to show you how much trouble she's in right now, even if only 1% of that group of people decided to take her to task, hell, 0.1%, let's say, that's 4,000 people that can put a libel and slander case against Narindur Kaur. I don't think even Tommy Robinson can stand up to 4 million cases. He's struggling with the 5 or 6 he's had, let alone the 4,000 that if people were to go out of their way to do it, Narindur would be fucked. There's no shot that she's going to be able to defend herself against this. There is no fucking shot that she would ever be able to amass the funds to not only stand in those cases, but to also pay compensation to the people she libelously named as racist. So Narindur Kaur openly apologised to us, directly, unconditionally, and unreservedly. Or you can enjoy some of the people who are most likely going to take you to task. Or as I put in the title, take out the trash and place you, Narindur Kaur, in the dustbin of history where you rightfully belong. Oh, but we're not done yet. Oh, no. That would be too easy. That would be too fucking easy, guys. Because you know what she did seconds later? She outed herself as a racist. She may as well have had a double-barreled shotgun and pointed it straight at her foot, because that's exactly what she did. She said, very, very soon after she was asked to apologize and say that we're racist, she said, and I quote, "They're coconuts." End quote. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds like a pretty nasty slur to use against people, especially black people, I believe. What say you, Narindur Kaur? You call us all racists, and then in 30 seconds, if that, just like that, hypocrite. Pot, kettle, black. Well done, you played yourself. I hope the mainstream media cover that, but I suspect they won't, because they're activists, not journalists. But I want to see this put on there, and I want complaints put to Narindur Kaur directly to hold her to account for her slurs and her libel. I think we should all collectively do that together, put in complaints to her and basically call for her to apologize. And if she's not willing to do that, then frankly she does deserve absolutely zero sympathy if she starts getting libel and slander cases thrown against her, which I will say this right now, she 100% deserves. Now, I've spoken about her enough, so let's move on to what I think is going to be the most important thing, despite those two cases. The most important thing of this stream, which is going to be the 27th of July, because I do have my worries about it. I'll get the positivity out there right now, which is I'm really worried of what the establishment might try to pull as far as this event is concerned. Now, for all I know, it could be they allow this event and it all goes fine. In which case, hey, fine and dandy. I'll fucking drink juice to that. Ah, lovely. But my worry, though, is I see one of two things happening. Either the Labour Party is going to end up banning this event, don't want political opposition, which would basically out them as fascists unequivocally and beyond redemption, or they're going to allow it, but there's going to be something pretty maligned and malevolent leveled at us. Now, I don't know what it is. It could be they just send infiltrators in like they usually do. It could be they try to agitate us. It could be they might be in collusion with people. This is just speculation, by the way. I don't believe that I have enough evidence to say, yes, they're going to do this, that, and the other. But what I do know is that we have seen stories in the past, for example, of the BBC, one of the arms, as it were, who literally went out of their way to hire two hitmen for around £50,000-55,000 to basically kill a drug dealer in front of his kids. Now, if they're willing to do that, it would seem silly to give them the benefit of the doubt of what they could do to this event. Like, it is still speculation, let me be clear, but they have got the capacity to do it. They have definitely got the capacity to hire people to go out and kill someone. They have definitely got the capacity to bring people in who could cause a really fucking scary event for this rally on the 27th of July. Now, of course, I don't want it, because obviously I want us to be able to go up there without fear of we're going to get attacked. But I have to be realistic. And I have to be tentative, I have to be cautious, and I have to be on the top of my game, I guess would be the most accurate way to put it. I need to be on the top of my game with this. Even if I'm not the main person people look to for this kind of news, I have to be there to provide my opinion and provide potential threats to this event. Because we're all going out of our way to go up there, those of us that are, and touch wood, I should be up there on the 27th. I am worried that we're going to see something happen. And it's going to be very, very unpleasant. Just thinking about it is giving me this really sinking feeling in my heart. But it won't stop me from going. Let me be clear on that. It won't stop me from going up there and declaring my support to take down the traitors in the houses of treachery. I mean Parliament. Or maybe I was right first time. Let's just hope Nigel Farage isn't in the houses of treachery when we start having all those speakers up on the platform. Because the way I look at it, we need people like Nigel Farage to understand that we, the British people, have had enough of traitors. And we're on his side if he is willing to drop his rhetoric towards us. If he took that away, started showing some support, actually spoke at this event, because I'm sure Tommy Robinson would absolutely love him the chance. He could galvanize the nation. He could easily muster up support, and he could easily lead a revolution against the government. I know it for a fact, and it won't be a violent one. The only way it's going to get violent is if the real far right, or the people who don't have the patience or the ability to control them, decide they've had enough first and they take action before we have a chance. And then, of course, give them all the reason they need to ban movements like this. Like, I don't want to be the negative guy, but I will have to say how it is. I've never sugarcoated anything. I'll never mince my words. And I am not going to shy away from some cold truths that we need to be ready for. I am worried, genuinely, that some people are just not going to have the patience to deal with this, and they're going to pick up whatever they can find and take matters into their own hands. And I've always said it, I will say it here again, just for clarity, I will never advocate or condone a violent revolution. I will never condone anybody's actions. I will condemn them the first chance I get. But I've always said this, I will completely understand why people would be driven over the edge by the treachery of our politicians. Because that's what it boils down to. People, it's basically like a kettle, to lacking a better phrase. Put the bitch on, and I know it's off the thing, so it's not going to go on, but that's beside the point. The point is, this whole thing is like a kettle, or a powder keg if you want to go that far. And I don't think there are going to be enough people who can actually have restraint, as it were. I mean, even I'm going to struggle, quite frankly. The idea that Labour's going to be in power for 1 year, let alone 5 potentially, is a very scary precedent. Even more so, the possibility of Sadiq Khan. If Keir the Tool Starmer decides to resign, he could be opening the floodgates for Sadiq Khan to become Prime Minister. And as soon as that happens, we are all fucked, bluntly speaking. Because you know damn well that man is going to bring in blasphemy laws just like that to stop criticism of Islam. This is the same mayor of London who has failed in the last, 2 or 3 terms, who was also in connection with some 7/7 bombers, trying to give them legal aid and actually offer legal advice and all that. So you've got to be careful of Sadiq Khan, because if he gets in power, as I said, we're all in a whole load of trouble. This is why it is so important to get up to Trafalgar Square on the 27th of July. Let nothing stop you. We need to send a message to these traitors. We need to send a message that says to them, we, the British people, have had enough of the deceit, the lies, the malicious intent of the government trying to silence us, suppress us, lock us down while they go out partying, even when the Queen has lost her husband and is going to a fucking funeral. To put into perspective, we must make it our civic duty to be down there on the 27th of July. No excuses. I feel like I've got real fire in me now. Don't put me out there. Anyway, we must make sure we're down there at all costs, whatever it takes. We must hold them to account. We do not want to be governed by people who want to press down the thumb, as it were, to drive us into distraction, to drive us down into the mud while the Islamists come over the shores and take over our country little by little, piece by piece. Islam has time and time again, it is a cancer in any Western society, and Labour will accelerate the rate at which they conquer this country tenfold. They will sink this country so quick, it'll make the Titanic look like a fucking seaside picnic. This is why I will always stand and fight these traitors. This is why I will always keep fighting. Much like the lion heart of Tommy Robinson, we all have a lion in us. We just need to awaken it. We need to show the people in the establishment we have come to take out the trash and place it in the dumpster of history. Because I'll tell you one thing else as well, just before I end this. There are Labour voters right now who are even calling for Keir the biggest tool Starmer to basically reverse Brexit. They want him to rejoin us to the European Union. I don't know if that scares you or not. It probably should, considering 17.4 million people voted for Brexit because they knew that the unelected bureaucracy in Brussels was doing nothing but harm to our country. Unlimited free movement, £55 million gross a day payment to the I can't even get the words out. The bureaucracy in Brussels. I'll get there in the end. Just you fucking watch me. My next fight is going to be that word. But they took £55 million a day from us, and we got fuck all in return. I think I am safe in saying, for the rest of the British people who voted Brexit, we do not want to rejoin the single market. Full stop. We don't want to be a part of them. We don't want to contribute to a single army. We don't want to have open borders so that they can continue flying in. We want our country back. And let me tell you something, we're getting it back, one way or another. I want it to be through peaceful avenues, but I am worried that we'll see some people who don't have the patience, and they will end up getting nasty. And I don't want that. We must make sure we are on our best behaviour when we go to that rally on the 27th of July. Because, as I said, they look for any excuse to shut us down. Don't give them anything. Give them nothing, but take from them everything. People shouldn't fear their governments. Governments should fear their people. And I think that's about it, really. So I want to thank you all for watching, guys. Hopefully, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give it a like. If you really like me, subscribe. You don't have to. You have your free will. But, yeah, I'm hoping that we can reclaim this country, but I am very, very worried what might happen. So we'll have to see what happens in the next, maybe even a few months, for all I know. But 3 months, 12 months, 16 months, doesn't matter. We have got to make sure that we keep fighting. Fight to the end. Stop at nothing. Take out the trash. Remove the traitors from Parliament. And make sure that we are the ones that rule this country, not the politicians who are only in it for power and money. Thanks for watching, guys. I wish you all a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye for now.